everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to give you guys a little rundown of my first music festival and some tips and tricks I learned when I went to OSHEAGA Music Festival in Montreal this past weekend. I want to talk about buying my music festival ticket and my experience with their app. They do have their own app that you download once you buy tickets, and their buying process is through Ticketmaster, which was well for me because I do have a Ticketmaster account. So I bought my ticket about 6 weeks out from the festival because this was like a tiny bit of a last minute decision, and there was still festival tickets up until the festival, I believe. And the app, I had a good experience with the app. I also wanted to mention I bought a single day Sunday pass for 150 Canadian dollars, and the whole weekend pass is 300, but I originally wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it for every single day, so we just went with the Sunday pass. And another thing my friend and I had to think about while preparing to attend OSHEAGA Festival was our accommodation and like travel. So luckily my friend has family in Montreal that were very kind enough to let us stay with them. So that also made this experience and decision for us a lot easier because we are too young to book a hotel. So thankfully we had somewhere to stay that was within distance to the metro, which I will talk about the metro later in this video. Another reason that this festival was a perfect starter festival for my friend and I was because it is in Montreal, which is about 4 hours driving distance from where we live, which is a far drive, but it was very doable. So we decided to drive, and honestly I was worried for the drive, but Google Maps honestly has your back. The drive was a breeze, and I would definitely do it again. Like I mentioned, the metro is basically a lot of people's main mode of transportation there. So luckily my friend's family showed us the metro for the first day, and then we were able to ride the metro for the rest of the days. I would say the only thing about the metro is that it is in French, so you just have to pay attention and listen and like watch the map. I personally do not speak French, and I was able to travel around on the metro just fine, so don't worry if you are a non-speaking French person coming into Montreal. It is accessible. There is a bit of a language barrier, but not much. I also want to say that the security at the metro was enhanced for this weekend that we were there because of OSHEAGA, and especially the certain stops that they knew people would have to be getting on and off at to get to OSHEAGA. And along with that, they were prepared for metro riders coming to OSHEAGA. They had signage, and they had, as I said, extra security officers around and like directing people. So that was good because it sort of like took that anxiety off your chest, knowing that there is at least someone there that can like guide you. But I told my friend this: just follow the crowd. Follow where everyone else is going. We're all going to the same spot. We'll get there eventually. The last like not so fun thing I want to mention was budgeting. So obviously your budget would be a lot different if you were staying in a hotel, you were flying there, stuff like that. But personally, I just tried to limit my spending a lot in July and June and not eat out as much, just things like that, because I knew I'd be spending a little bit extra at OSHEAGA. And I will mention the whole event is cashless, so everything is through debit card, Apple Pay. There's just no cash there, which honestly, everyone carries a debit card now, not everyone has cash, so it honestly makes a lot of sense. And I spent around $33 at the festival for food, which honestly isn't that bad. It would be a bit more obviously if you were attending a 3-day festival, but personally I was prepared to spend a bit of money. And then for my whole trip to Montreal, I would say I spent about around $200, which included gas, food. Unfortunately, although we were staying with family, we didn't have food to make, so we ate out a lot. So I would definitely just sort of think of things you need and definitely budget out what you're willing to spend on those things, and just be prepared to spend a little bit extra money that month. But for me, I did limit my spending, so it worked out that I wasn't spending an absurd amount of money. Now let's get on to the fun things. So who did I go to see at OSHEAGA? Why did I pick Sunday? So First off, we had Dua Lipa as the headliner, and I'm not a huge Dua Lipa fan, but like I would definitely like see her live. Then we had Machine Gun Kelly, which I am a Machine Gun Kelly fan, and I know he like actually engages with the audience a lot, so I was excited to see him. Girl in Red, I love Girl in Red. I know that bitch's music. I love Girl in Red. And I was super excited to see her. She was probably my most excited person to see, and we did wait to get up close to the front, which you'll hear a story about that in a little bit. And Gracie Abrams. So our day started with Gracie Abrams, and overall I would give her like a 7 out of 10. She was a great performer. Not much stage presence or like engaging with the audience, but she did play a cover of a song which I liked, and the crowd was just overall really good vibes for her. Next was Girl in Red, which I was so excited for. We waited while a different set was going on to be at the front. And we got close to the front, but we were sort of in that awkward middle ground. And I really loved her set. The only thing I didn't love was like she really encouraged the crowd to mosh, which is fine, except for where we were. We were literally just around a whole bunch of men, which I didn't know that many men like Girl in Red, but we were around like a whole bunch of men, and as soon as she said that, I knew we were going to be in a bad area for moshing. And we got through like one song moshing, and then it was like she wanted to do it again and again. And I personally am not huge into moshing. I know it's a part of like festival culture, but I think there's boundaries that come with moshing. And so I personally and my friend, we decided to head to the back because I just didn't want to do that. There was also a few people around me that were like, oh, I'm not into this. So we went to the back and we still enjoyed. We danced, jumped around. I really enjoyed her set. She came into the crowd. But for me, the moshing thing sort of like threw me off. So I give Girl in Red like a 7.5 out of 10. And then we waited around for a few hours to see Machine Gun Kelly. He ended up being like 10 minutes late, but I sort of expected it. He put on a really good show. He was very engaged with the crowd. Like, it was a good experience, and we stayed sort of to the back because I didn't want to get caught in the moshing, and to me that was more of a set that there would be moshing at. So we stayed closer to the back, but like we vibed. There's people around us dancing, smoking. It was fun. Overall, Machine Gun Kelly gave off really good vibes. He like seemed like he was like happy to be there and performing for us, and so I gave him a 9 out of 10. And then last was Dua Lipa to end off the night. And personally, we were in a shit spot. We didn't wait for Dua Lipa. We were like literally just watching her on a big screen. But she didn't engage with the crowd very much when we were there. And then we decided to leave early to beat the crowd. So I honestly gave Dua Lipa a 6 out of 10. Nothing against her. She wasn't very engaging, but I'm just not a huge fan of her music either. But overall, I had a great time seeing those artists. I also want to touch on the festival fashion because going into this festival, I was under the impression it was very casual. And I said to my friend, like, listen, I'm still going to go all out because this is my first festival. But I was very happy and surprised to see a lot of face glitter, body glitter, still a lot of casual outfits, but also I did see some rave outfits and I saw a lot of matching sets. It was just cool to see because I was not expecting to see them, but I loved seeing them, of course. And the last few things I want to touch on are just some notes I have. Security went pretty fast. It was really basic security. If you're worried, it was really, really basic. But it didn't take too long. And then I also brought empty water bottles, which was easy through security. Some people had to dump water out. I personally knew we weren't allowed water to bring in, so that was fine. Bring wet wipes because they're most likely than not there will be no toilet paper, which I knew, and I decided to leave my wet wipes at home, and then I went to the bathroom and there was no toilet paper. So I should have brought them and I didn't. But note to self, I will be bringing wet wipes to a festival I'm going to in September. And the last thing, I just wanted to reiterate that although Montreal is a French-speaking province, there was a little language barrier outside in Montreal, but no language barrier in the festival. Everyone there spoke English as well as French. But yeah, I had a great time at OSHEAGA. It was definitely a really good beginner festival. I saw people younger than me, people older than me, and it was a really good time. So I definitely recommend going to OSHEAGA, and I hope you learned a few things from this video.